Okay, I'm gonna give the room a minute to fill up. This is improv. Ooh, that's harsh. I'm not really gonna get a curtain. A curtain ish. There, I can lean back now without completely ripping my eyes out. Don't expect very many people to get here or be in here. This is not regularly scheduled programming, to be honest. Hey, Clifford. Um, this is actually inspired by Prepared Homestead, the video he did this morning. Uh, so, do, 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 do. I y'all bear with me. I thought, oh, there's only game got up to 4, and then everybody left. Uh, I really hope I don't have a bunch of thumbs up now from those, because that I'd rather have the view time than the thumbs up, guys. Uh, honestly, that's super duper wrong. Um, yeah, I'm not, apparently not even subscribed myself anymore. There we go. Myself anymore. There we go. Myself anymore. Got it. Why I can't mute it? Anyway, I turned the volume down. I need trying to gain me some watch time while I'm at it. Yeah, it's still early for you. Steve, I've been out hunting this morning. I got a giant sky chicken out there I got to clean now. Shot 2, but the one is going to be hard to recover. Yes, this is actually my shed. Adrian or Aiden here helped me build it. Uh, he he now knows what it's like to hold a flashlight and get cussed at by Wes S. So uh, my kids tried to warn him. Aid sawed almost every one of these to length. He helped me put the tin up in here. That was a son of a bitch. I don't know if you can tell that the ceiling is actually the old roof off of my other house. Um, yeah, this is my shed. It's 16, 10 to 16, and this is my designated. The wind's blowing. It's cold as heck outside. Smoking area. So this is my deck for if you need a reference to like Corsair trainers videos. This is my deck. Ordinarily, I would just be over there under the oak tree, but the wind's blowing and it's like 40 degrees outside. So, hey, Mark, how goes it? Anyway, um, Travis over there on Prepared Homestead, he's a he's a really good soul. He was trying to re-explain something he'd already explained because when you have videos that take off and you get a lot of comments on those videos, you get people commenting stuff on there that most days you can just let it go, and some days you have to be like, okay, whatever, and you have to respond to it. I've got, they're not actually on here anymore, but uh, I had 468 recordings on my phone. 468. And I'm like, wow. Uh, why in the world do I have so many recordings on here? And why don't I have 468 new YouTube videos? Because a lot of times, instead of going after them in the comment section, I would turn my phone on and I would just talk. I just talk to them, and uh, I may do a collage of those because some of them I found some of them there. I had to take them off my phone because I had no memory left on my phone because there were some of those little rants that went 20 minutes. Hey, um, I need to. I apologize. Stop. I apologize to everybody for what I'm about to say, but the new FedEx guy is vertically challenged. I thought there was a kid walking out of my yard. I was like, who's a kid? And then it occurred to me that that's the FedEx truck. My dogs suck, by the way. As far as uh, Shiloh got a new home. He got adopted by people who think he's like the best dog ever, and he's got like I don't know, 180 acres or something. I was actually waiting for that guy. I'm thinking about putting y'all on hold and run around there, seeing if that's my new toy. Um, I've got a lot of pieces of dead animals in my freezer that I'm going to turn into sausage. And I was complaining that the hand crank sausage grinder was hurting my hand, and because I have the best wife ever on the whole planet, she bought me a electric grinder, and that this might be it sitting on the porch. So, anyways, um, yeah, I was just telling Clifford up there that you helped me build this room. Thing, whatever. Shit. The guy that was texting a minute ago, that's one of the guys that's supposed to come down here and run electricity over here. And Corey, too. Uh, been hunting everything, honestly. In case you're listening in the background, uh, the then hog hunting. I'm gonna go ahead and take a deer. I think. Uh, I've only brought one hog home though. I'm not wasting my time with the boars. So, and YouTube won't let you put anything like that on. Well, there's enough guys out there shooting pigs that get plenty of views and stuff because they got commercial sponsors and stuff. That hey, I'll just go live and tell you, hey, guess what? I shot something. Like I'd rather do the sandhill crane, but I can only shoot 7 more. I can only shoot 7 more cranes. In May, if I can recover the one, I can only shoot 6 more cranes. I hope I can recover them. I don't know if I can yet. I don't know. From down here, I can't look up their skirt. I heard him bad, and he ain't gonna make the night, but he did not come down. I watched him fly for nearly a mile, and then lost track of which one he was. Yeah, it's insulated and everything. Anywho, the actual title of this is like, I really do want to talk about it because what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? And outside of all the fake genders and stuff that they've come up with, uh, I'm not calling them new genders either because they're not new. They don't exist. Something has to exist for it to be. Okay, a gender is a gender. It's an X or Y. It's a X or XY or XX. That's the end. You've either got 2 of these chromosomes or 2 of these chromosomes. The end. There are conditions out there where the person has to deal with attributes pertaining to the gender to which they do not belong, but that does not change their gender. It's an attribute that ordinarily is attributed to another gender that this person is stuck with. Uh, Growing a beard for ladies, there are women out there that actually grow beards. Um, there sometimes ladies have body parts that are, you know, uh, it's not a man in the boat; it's a helicopter on the boat, and that's just life. That doesn't mean they're not a woman. Uh, Sometimes guys get the short end of the stick. Doesn't mean they're a woman. Yes, recycle fence panels. Uh, Making jokes to the wife or whatever last night on this whole gender thing. Um, can't remember what got it started, but she still works and I don't. And I did the pretend pouty cry, uh, yada yada stuff, all the stereotypical complaining housewife stuff. And Sid jumped right on board with it or whatever. She was like, okay, uh huh, and just um, yeah, that's I think we need to quit putting so much. There's manly things and there's woman things. Now there are manly things and there are women things. There are things that, uh, short of major medical intervention and manipulation, women can do that men can't. Gestating a human being inside of their body, that's a woman's thing. That's that's all the way female. Um, Now, again, without medical intervention on a scale that is actually illegal in most countries, without a male involved somewhere down the line, a woman cannot get another woman pregnant. It's, boom. Those are gender specific things. Uh, is hunting something that only men do? Uh, I guarantee you that back in the day, like let's say pre-colonial America, if some Native American First Nations people, ladies, were out gathering willow for baskets or berries for whatever, and they stumbled upon a rabbit, I guarantee you they smacked it in the head with a rock. Or uh, they found a deer that had screwed up and they didn't go running back to camp and go, we found an injured deer. Come kill it for us. No, they probably smacked it with a stick or something. They may have actually gone out hunting on their own. They had um, more important things to do than wish they could run around and do all the things that men did. Because they had to feed the babies because no feeding the babies, no more little Indians running around because the guy couldn't feed the baby. He didn't have the equipment. Hunting is not necessarily gender specific. Um, and guys, watch your running your head or whatever because there's a lot of women out there that can out hunt us. Uh, Women aren't subjected to that freaking thing called buck fever as nearly as much as we are. So, what's this about women and manipulation? Oh, okay, Chipper. Women will quite often manipulate you into taking the blame for what their dogs do. And speaking of which, you need to quit getting them puppies in trouble. Me and Mrs. Chipper were discussing it, and you need to just man up and take responsibility for your misdirection of those young dogs' lives and try to be a better role model instead of an instigator. Okay? We just, now that that's out of the way, we can get back to the conversation. Um, and don't raise that little one to be mean some bitch like the last one. I got puppy fever pretty bad, actually. I've had it for nearly a year now. And there's a guy I I just watched. He comes across my thing on the shorts or whatever. Um, is it marital advice guy or whatever? He's been reading some of the stuff from a magazine back in 1955 or something like that, 56. Oh, that was some toxic masculinity back then. But in the 50s, guys, there was this thing called World War II in the 40s, and they took all of the men and they put them in uniforms and sent them out the country. Okay. Uh, they had some in Europe and some in the Pacific Ocean. And they had to fill both because, I mean, it was a major industrial explosion. They had to come up with welders, pipe fitters, diesel mechanics, uh, boundary workers. They had to come up with all this stuff. Women. Uh, there were no more secretaries. They had to come up with secretaries. They had to come up with somebody to take care of the offices, to do the bookkeeping, to answer the phones, to do the operating on the phone systems and stuff. Prior to World War II, having a female working as a bank teller was it happened. It was not common. You might have a female receptionist, someone the hell be the first smiling face that that you saw, because that disarms the person coming in the building. And yeah, I'm sounding sexist. This is straight up. They don't want you to know this as being history, but it's history. Okay. Then in the 50s, the guys came back. They wanted their jobs back. The young ladies that had got to do something other than their gender specific role, which they were then, didn't want to go back to gender specific. So a lot of them did, but a lot of them didn't. And after the war, there were so many guys that the women were doing the typing and the this and the that, and that being the secretaries and stuff like that. They didn't want to go back to it. It had been, those things had been made a woman's job, and uh, the powers that be liked it that way. All the other men are off to war, and all of a sudden you've got 15 or 20 young ladies working in your bank or your office or your distribution center or whatever. you really want to get rid of all of those desperate young women, or you want to keep them and uh, make the guys go find jobs, building houses, digging ditches, whatever. So it's what we consider, well, mostly women do those jobs nowadays. It wasn't always that way. I know a lot of women that work in jobs that that they spent the entire 50s and 60s trying to convince women that they didn't have any business doing anymore. They'd already proven that they could do it. Now, you men are bigger, stronger, not always faster. Some of you guys are slow. I'm slow. My wife can outrun me. That's why I don't, you know, it ain't that I'm scared of her. It's just I'm smart enough that I just say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That way I don't get beat up as much, or the beatings are less intense. Trixie has a little Nerf gun she uses when I go in her office, and start running my head. She just shoots me. She doesn't even. Just bad eyes. I didn't know she had that. I thought I was safe across the room, but evidently not. So, um, and I can't actually cry about being stabbed. So, how many of y'all knew that prior to World War II, most of the what was considered women's work nowadays was done by men? Uh, there were a few waitresses here and there, but mostly, but those were attached to the guy in the kitchen who owned the place, who was doing all the cooking and stuff. They were either a wife, a sister, a daughter to the owner. There was the occasional. My mom actually worked as a waitress and a short order cook in the 40s, uh, early 50s. My daughter has a doctor's appointment in 31 minutes. It's a long walk to the coffee machine. Anybody want to go get me a cup of coffee? Just pour it. Just pour it through. I got to clean that bird, which they're not hard to clean. Just, it's fun to sit out there and wait for them and pick your bird and shoot it and watch it fall like a rock. But then you got to get your hands dirty. Everything. This jacket is the best purchase I've ever made. It was on clearance for $15 2 years ago, and it's gray, and all I got to do is step into the shadows of something, and I disappear. I wear it more than I don't even wear my camo when I go out hunting anymore. I just put this on. It's like literally just step into the shadows and boom, you're gone. Now I know why so many animals are gray. I'm gonna go get some coffee and check on her, and I'll be right back. Y'all, this is my wall. She said, yes, I know I have a doctor's appointment. I'm supposed to leave. And it wasn't my toy. I must continue to wait patiently for the arrival of my meat grinder. Thank you, Anonymous. And yes, y'all want to know y'all want to hear the story about this jacket. It's actually kind of, well, I think it's humorous. Um, and see this? I'm going to share some prepping tips with you. Tillman 140 or 1464L. Um, these are actually welding gloves, sort of. This when I was a welder, 90% of my time was spent wearing these, and I've just got addicted to them. The your numero uno finger, which is you're striking your arc. If you're doing you strike outside the V 3 times and you're out of there. Just in case you didn't know that. Anyway, so you got the reinforced front finger, which is the one that catches all the grief. Doesn't matter what you're doing, but at the welding supply place, these gloves are under $15. Okay, and uh, they will outlast any $20 pair of gloves you can get at Tractor Supply. The end. And they're comfortable. The rest of uh, the back, which never catches any grief, the back of your hand is the split suede. The palm has suede on it, but this is actually sewed onto the cowhide. Um, it's, it's a good glove. Now, I do suggest that when you get a new pair, you put silicone on the stitches. Just regular silicone. Just rub the stitching. Keeps the sand from getting in there. And then the threads don't tear up. And you just rub a little bit. That's all you're doing. Just keep the sand off the threads. That's it. And yeah, they're really good gloves. Anyway, you want to hear about the jacket or not? I keep seeing people. Yes, the recycled pallet wood and recycled barn wood and stuff. I was I was ahead of my time on my den over there. Apparently, that's the way you're supposed to do it, and I did it before it became cool. I like to think that people saw pictures of it on Facebook and said, oh, "That's very pretty. That's how I will do my stuff too." But that's probably not true. So, anyways, it was January or February. It was after all the holidays, and we ran into somebody in the Walmart, and for whatever reason, Walmart didn't have their heater going for crap, or I might have been sick. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't wear a jacket to town. And it was one of those days that boom, it was warm. You get up in the morning, in the afternoon, it was cold. Okay, This is the afternoon. We're in Walmart. I'm freezing my butt off. And my wife has run into one of our friends. Me and my wife ran into him. And sitting there visiting and stuff. And I said, I got to go do something about this. I'm freezing to death. And I was just going to go grab me a. They had $15 hoodies all over the store. And I walked over there and I seen this hanging on the rack. Clearance. $15. I took it off the rack. I put it on. It fit. It was a light jacket. It was way better than a hoodie. So I wore it around the store. We were in that store for an hour. I wore it around the whole time to the price tag off. When we got to the counter, I just took the price tag and held it up there, and the lady scanned it. I never took it off. And yeah, anyway, I've been trying to wear it out ever since. I've been keeping my eye out to see if they get any more of them. Because when you find something good, you buy extras. There was only two. I bought one. Somebody else bought the other one. But it's got the windbreaker, whatever the mesh on the inside. It's got a zipper and snaps. You can close it up. It's really, if you close it up, it's a good warm jacket. But if you unzip it and stuff, you can. It's like a layer. It's like a really. It's Dickies. For sure. It's Dickies, genuine Dickies. Sport a really good jacket. I wish I had bought both of them. I don't know what's in that box. Something my wife bought. It's a huge box. Can't get. I did not know that the FedEx guy was under 5 foot tall. I had to go measure my fence now. He might have been over 5 foot tall. I know exactly where to measure to know where the top of his hat was. You got to do any hunting yet this year, Mark? Monsignor C103? Anybody in here got to go hunting yet? Am I the only guy that got to go hunting this year? Carol probably limited out on everything already. She probably got a freezer full of turkey and crane and probably got a mule deer. Got an extra freezer full of pheasant. I don't know that about Carol, but she's an avid outdoors person. She likes it when she's one of those gals that likes it when the seasons change from hunting to fishing, and then from fishing to hunting. She's one of those people. She's got a lifetime super combo. She didn't even want to waste time buying the license. She just did it all. Just went down and bam up front, paid for the whole shebang. Oh, okay. Maybe Carol didn't go hunting yet. Yeah, I'm gonna make a picnic-ish type table thing for the yard out of some of this. Oh man, see, man, I have to go to town to hunt squirrels, and apparently you get in trouble for that. Seriously, thinking about getting me a night vision scope, putting it on an air rifle, going to the park though. didn't mean to say that out loud. That's a joke. That's humor. That was satire. That was a satirical statement, not meant as fact, but merely as something humorous that a person could do. Yeah, that is a bee. There's a beehive around here somewhere, but at least it's not in the attic. I think I got a clue where it is, but I'm going to go back there and mess around with it. There's a hollow tree back there about 300 yards. Hey, Trajan. Yeah, Chipper's explaining if I don't know anybody that wants the hogs. I would have. I don't know how to explain it. I'm going to do my best to eradicate them, but I hate the idea of just killing them and just taking the choice pieces. But that's the deal for the right to hunt. So, icky. But anyway, I'm going to actually try to stay on track this time. What do I think uh, about what is a real man? What is a real woman? You know, it's gonna sound weird now. That's why I've got to stay on track with it. So if y'all put anything in the comments, I apologize. They're almost exactly the same thing. Being a real man and being a real woman are literally almost exactly the same thing. Sort of like mirror image of each other. A real man cares about those people inside of his bubble. A real man does not deliberately make sure that he is the only person in his bubble. If you shun and drive other people out so you don't have to worry about them or take care of them or deal with them, then you're no longer a man. You've given up your humanity. If you give up your humanity, you can't be a man. Humans are social animals. Am I saying that you have to have 15 or 20 people living in your house or have to have 15 or 20 people over at your house every weekend for parties or this? No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. Uh, we very seldom, if ever, have company, and there is a very few people that we hang out with on a regular basis. But there are still people that are inside my bubble that I care about and I try to help out. That's that's what you do. That's what a woman does. Now then, a man will respond to a emotional or physical threat to those within his bubble in a physical manner. Okay. somebody hurts your kids, your wife, your friends, you will bust them up some which how way. A woman, somebody, and here's where it's getting confusing. A lot of women today get super physical super fast. Used to, a woman would only do it if there was an imminent threat to their offspring, or a offspring within the social whatever their group, the little bubble, you know, niece, nephew, best friend's little kid, whatever. You know, bear comes out of the woods threatening to try to eat a little kid. Next thing you know, mama's over there with a tree limb slapping the piss out of a 200-pound bear. Um, Seen it. The being into, well, I've got a big giant diesel truck. That doesn't make you a man, man. Oh, I like to go out and drink beer and get my truck dirty. That doesn't make you a man. Uh, Going out and pissing off money on toys, while it can be attributed to the male psyche or uh, chromosome, does not make you a man. If your wife's wardrobe is 2 years old, or she's running around uh, wearing secondhand clothes and this, that, and everything else, but you've got $2,000 corner rims on your truck, uh, a $65,000 bass boat on the back of it, uh, you're not a man. You're a boy, child, man child, and she has the right. She has the right to refer to you as a man child because you're not taking care of business. A man is going to take care of the people in his bubble first. Do you have it? Are you set up? Are you financially to a point where if all hell broke loose, uh, your bass boat flips upside down, you get your head took off by a rock underneath the water, and the catfish eat your guts? You're done. You're not coming back from that fishing trip. Does your wife and your kids have to worry about paying for your funeral, paying for the house, and getting the kids through college? She does. Well, then what the hell are you doing with a $65,000 bass boat? You can get a 16-foot John boat at the academy for $1,400. You still go fishing. You're being a man child. There's been a lot of times I could have bought a boat. I decided not to because And to this day, I'm still worried about if something happens to me, what my wife's going to do. That's being a man. Other side of it, the woman. Are you worried about what your husband and your children are going to do if you're gone? That's being a woman. Being a man or a woman is being worried about the other people in your bubble and not yourself. That's why men would go hunting, because they would look at the gaunt faces on the people around them and they're like, if I can just go kill something and drag its ass back, they can eat. Yeah, I mean, I may run into a grizzly bear, or that elk may not be dead when I walk up onto it, and it may turn around and stick those horns in me, and then we all starve to death. But I gotta do something. I will go out there with my little sharp pointy stick, and I will drive those wolves off of that dead buffalo, and I will bring that meat back to my family. They're not out there trying to prove that they can do it. Me, great white hunter, me bring meat back. No, they're out there trying to make sure that their family doesn't starve. That's as base as it goes. A man doesn't lay hands on a woman. Women, listen real close. Women do not give their man a reason to want to put hands on them. If you can put a B or a W in front of ITCH to describe the way you are to your spouse, ladies, then you're not a woman. You cannot be a woman if you can use W or B and itch to describe yourself. You can be an asshole. You can be a hard ass. To a degree, you can nag. Without nagging, yes, the sink will always stay broken. Yes, men, if it's taken you 6 months to fix the leaky sink, she does have the right to remind you frequently that there's a leak in the sink. Uh, don't get me started on the other. Uh, if it, ladies, if he's weak in the knees when he goes to sleep every night, why the hell he got to go look for something somewhere else? Guys, if she passes out from endorphins every night, why the hell she got to go look for something else? That's part of the person in your bubble. That's on you too. Well, how long's the roof been leaking? And why are you just now getting around to the roof leaking if you got a leaky sink? Why didn't you, when you found the leak in the sink, why didn't you just go out and fix it? This was nothing but solid pain for me. I ate uh, ibuprofen like it was going out of freaking style building this shit. And I had help. Because this is something that my wife needed. This was something that the people in my bubble desperately needed. The hold on a second. That fence down there. Still digging cactus thorns out of my body. Um, that was one. After the little tiny ones get in there, and then they get a little red, and then the red dries up, and then you got this little knot that you got to dig out. Uh, why am I still digging cactus thorns out of my body? Because there was something that the people in my bubble needed done, which required me to put myself in pain and at risk to have happen. I was diligently working on this thing that needed to happen. And my wife took her days off because it was something that needed to happen to benefit the people in her bubble and helped. See that? See how that makes her a woman and how it makes me a man? I'm doing the same thing. Do men make excuses for not doing the things that their bubble requires of them? Uh, I use this term in my head because it's kind of tacky, but you got people that complain about stuff, and then you got people that try to explain why stuff's not happening, and they're usually the same person. I call them come-splainers. Because they're always complaining and explaining. Uh, it's just, don't be a come-splainer. You rank those people right up there with quitters, spitters. You nearly got it done, and then you quit. Just go on out there. If you chew the head off that bird, they ain't got to cut it off. Whatever. Yeah, Anonymous, I am saying that. How can the leak that's been going on for 3 months in the kitchen or bathroom or wherever that sink is not be of equal importance to you as it is to her? Oh, well, I don't use that sink. Why the fuck is she doing all the dishes? When you go to deer camp, don't you wash your own dishes? When you go camping, you wash up after yourself, right? When you go out of town to work, you go do your own laundry, don't you? I mean, you wash your own ass, brush your own teeth, right? I mean, you use sinks. I'm just saying, if women's priorities are different than men's, I'm not going to argue that on you. That's one of the reasons that Paul gave. Well, he's not the only one. Why women shouldn't be in control of things, because they're, uh, it's in Psalms. Anyway, the Bible speaks that women are going to do things to make things better for themselves and for their children, because that's where their priorities are. That's why Men are in control because a woman's idea of better is easier. Okay, easier is not always best. The easiest way to take care of kids nowadays is to give them an electronic device and let their brain turn off while they stare blankly at a screen while you do whatever. That means that that screen is teaching your kid's brain how it's supposed to fire, how it's supposed to operate. I don't trust VeggieTales to do that. I don't trust Barney to do that. My kids watched Barney with adult supervision. I have a kid in prison. Before he got addicted to methamphetamine, I was constantly getting compliments on the kind of young man he was. I still get compliments on the kind of young man my oldest boy, mine and Liz's oldest boy, because we taught them how to think. Life changes things sometimes. Love you too, baby. You need me to load that little roller up? Okay. I think that I bought a little umbrella stroller. I think it's the most badass tool I've ever bought in my life. I want to find one. I want to find an umbrella stroller like that. That is big. You know, I know it's going to fold up bigger, but then when you unfold it and lock it into place, boom, you've got a four-wheel dolly that you can throw an animal in, or firewood, or whatever. It's just, I'm like, why did I never notice when my kids were little how badass umbrella strollers were? They're just, they fold up to nothing, and then you pop them open them. Boom! There's a chair that you can lock a baby in. You can feed the baby in it. You can take a nap in it. It'll carry the baby for you. There's a place for to put his extra junk, diapers, wet wipes. I am very proud of my umbrella stroller, and that I'm buying an umbrella stroller is a man thing to do because you're taking care of those people inside of your room. Anyway, a woman is going to want now. If your woman is griping at you because you haven't got her the latest refrigerator or the latest dishwasher or um, honestly, folks, if you have a dishwasher in your house, there's two of you, and you have a dishwasher in your house. Why? Mm, the sink's right there when you're in the kitchen. As you're doing the prep work, when you're done, you you wash the stuff that you did the prep work in, and you put it in the draining pan. My draining pan is always full. I like to cook. I think cooking is a manly thing to do. There were no women short order cooks back in the day. There were chef is something that is speaks of a man. There are women chefs now, and I'm not saying they can't cook. Women can cook. Men probably learned how to cook from women because a woman is going to look for a way to make things better for her people. So she can either throw the meat on the fire or she can put some stuff on the meat and then throw it on the fire so it tastes better. That's being a woman. But then wanting you, demanding that you specifically only bring in pear wood because that's the way she likes to cook. Well, I got to go an extra 200 miles to get pear wood, honey. That's not happening. And you got to be careful about nitpicking it down to this and that. Well, this justifies it. This justifies it. This justifies it. This justifies it. If you've got to nitpick something down into ways you can justify your behavior, if you have to, this I'm gonna piss everybody off with this. If you have to justify your behavior, you can't justify your behavior. Guy breaks into your house. You take your home defense home defense chainsaw file of choice, and you beat them into submission. And then you call the police. Because there's rules, they got to do certain things with the body and stuff. And when the policeman asks you what happened, it's real simple. You say, broke into my house, and I stopped him before he could hurt either me or mine. That's it. That's all you need to say. They're going to want you to justify. They're going to keep trying to egg you on to make justifications. The more justifications you have to make, the more ways they can come around and charge you with a crime. Self-defense or not, if they want anything else from you other than the fact that you said, hey, he was in my house, I prevented him from causing damage to me, mine, or my property. The end. If they want any more than that, lawyer up. Instantly. Matter of fact, you should probably call a lawyer before you call the cops. I mean, within the same 5 minutes. I don't know, Mr. Roof. Well, she doesn't need to harass me about that 3-month-old leak in the sink. I'm working on the roof right now. And I know you were trying to prove a point that her priorities were different than yours, but that was that, and you might have been humor or whatever, but you were making a justification for the reason you hadn't fixed the sink, which actually didn't hold water. No better than the sink did, because the sink has been leaking for 3 months. How long has the roof been leaking? 6. And I could be in San Antonio right now having a blast. I'm not done with that house. I can only do so much every day. I can spend that energy and that time. Like, should I have gone hunting today? It's real simple. I used my coffee drinking time and my hunting time, and I combined them. I'm allowed to wake up in the mornings, have a cup of coffee, grab a cigarette, grab another cup of coffee, grab a shotgun, 3 shells, go down in the pasture, come back with a bird. That's my plan for the next 9 days. Well, now I'm down to 7. Only get 7 more. But my wife's okay with that, because every time I do that, I put 4 pounds of meat in the freezer. 4 pounds of meat that she actually enjoys. Did I need my wife's approval, biblically speaking, to go hunting? No. Does my desire to have my wife's approval before I go and invest my limited time and energy on something like that Does my personal desire for approval of it, does it make me less of a man? No, it makes, I'm aware that my wife has desires and needs and wants that I shouldn't just walk all over. It's, and yeah, if you actually read the Bible, we are told that we have to follow the rules of man. Specifically in the New Testament, we are told to follow the rules of man because there is no power, there's no authority on earth other than that given by God. So if you do something and the law enforcement people ask you to justify that action, unfortunately, you have to give them the justification. Doesn't say specifics. This is the first Oregon anything I've bought. Actually, like this. It's better than the last one I bought was really flimsy. So, anyway. And it's weird. I ran my car to buy this, and then when I come home, I'm actually watching YouTube while I'm or listening to YouTube while I'm filing or sharpening the chainsaw blades. And I broke the other one. There's ads and uh, videos start popping up for Oregon chainsaw stuff, and I'm like, man, I didn't like that at all. And there are, and I'm not. This isn't. This is like an umbrella thing. In the okay, let's see. Everybody wants to go to the Bible. It says Jesus said that there are three commandments. The greatest commandment being love God, worship God, no other gods. The end. Two, I think I said started this whole conversation. He said there were two big commandments. The second one is to love thy neighbor as thyself. Did he literally mean that just because you move into next to somebody that you're supposed to love them and treat them like family? No, if you go on and read in the scriptures, you find out that he was specifically talking about the brethren and yada, yada, yada. But if you go on and read more, you find out that even those people who are living in sin without the light of God, you're still supposed to love them. Because what does he say about our enemies? Just because somebody makes a blanket statement and saying you need to put everything inside this circle for it to be true doesn't mean that inside that circle there aren't other little circles that matter. That's why the written law couldn't save, is because there are so many variables to everything Uh, two men get in a fight, and one man has another man on the ground. Is it about to kill him? The man on the ground, his wife sees that she is fixing to lose her husband and runs up and grabs that man. She's small, she's frail, she doesn't have the power to do anything. Runs up and grabs that man's nutsack and gives it a squeeze to break up the fight. By law, she has to die. There's no justification in the law ever that allows her to do that. But if the guy that has her husband on the ground is just some bully that's beating him for no reason, why should she not? And I'm gonna run out of battery. Dang it. Hold on, we're gonna go in the house for the rest of this. I'm gonna kill the camera and I will plug it in the house. Hold on. I gotta close this. Hopefully I make it inside before the battery dies. Hold on. No promises. What, Hyde? You want me to let you in the house and get in the trash again? Dog. There's a reason I don't want another schnauzer. Get in there, piece of shit. Not windy in here. Here, I talked to the bear. See the bear? Y'all can't see the bear. Ah. Y'all explain it to the bear. I gotta go. Dun, dun, dun. As the bear enlightened y'all, there is a story to that bear. I almost messed up with that bear. I almost got rid of it. And that would have been terminal. All right, C103. Be good, buddy. You can come chop wood here if you want to. I've been doing a lot of that. I have filled the wood rack twice since it got cold. And it's half empty again. So I got to go get more wood. Today and tomorrow are the last warm days for, well, no, it actually gets cold tonight and it stays cold until Friday. Oh, Snuggles here. This is the second stuffed animal my wife ever got her firstborn child. Um, I would like to know everything that this bear knows about. I found it when we were cleaning up and moving and was fixing to throw it away. My wife's like, "What are you doing, Snuggles?" I said, "Well, it's just a wore out teddy bear." And she explained to me that this was Snuggles, and Snuggles was not going anywhere. His nose was barely hanging on. The probably still DNA on there from Leland chewing on his face. Oh yeah, I was. Did you answer my question about whether you probably did? It's on my phone. I guess probably. Um. Anyway, and I'm not honestly not trying to. And we are only responsible to God. But if we're going to claim that we're only responsible to God, do we actually? How much time do we spend meditating ourselves specifically, reading the Word for ourselves, meditating on the Word ourselves? To learn what God wants of us. Not digging through the word trying to prove what our mind wants the word to say, but prayerfully reading the word and then prayerfully meditating upon the word and applying the basic laws of the word. There is only one God. His son was Jesus, Yahshua, whatever, however you want to say it. His son was the son of Jesse. He lived, he died, he rose again, he is alive, the right hand of God, and he will judge all of us in the end. Good, bad, indifferent. Everybody gets judged by the same man who is alive. Yahweh, God the Father, is still God. Jesus, Yeshua, is still the Son of God, has the authority of God, has the ability to do anything God can do. But until everything is complete and everything goes back to God, God and Jesus are separate. Jesus' body did not magically dissipate into spirit. He's literally still alive. Still 33 years old, sitting at the right hand of God. These things, everything you derive from the Word of God has to have those truths. There's one God. Jesus is the only way to God. He lived, he died, he's alive again. The only reason he died was to save you. The only reason he lived was to bring you the truth, the good news. The reason he died was to save you. How he saved you was coming back to life, and he has to stick around to intercede between us and the Father, because God cannot lay his eyes upon sin. Jesus trapped in his mortal body, Jesus residing in his mortal body, has the ability to look past our sins and hear our prayer and our acknowledge and acceptance of him. These things are all of them have to fit. Everything you derive from the Bible has to justify these things or be justified by these things. If it's not, it's not. Probably shouldn't go there. Can you be gay and go to heaven? Probably. Can you be a practicing homosexual and go to heaven? Probably not. Can you be straight and go to heaven? Probably. Unless you're a practicing whoremonger. Unless you don't know how to keep your zipper zipped and keep going around and messing with women you ain't got no business messing with. Because if you are sexually driven, you are not driven by the desires of God the Father. So you might want to be careful about that. The word abomination used in there to describe homosexuality is the same word used to describe those who are promiscuous on either side. And yeah, you can have more than one wife. Sorry. You can't in America because it's against the law. So that because the New Testament says obey the laws of the land. The laws of the land say you can't have no more than one wife. Can you smoke dope and go to heaven? Probably not. What? That's just a naturally occurring herb. It happens all over the place. It's against the law. And yeah, apparently you're supposed to obey the laws of the land, and the laws of the land say you ain't supposed to do that. I'm just saying what the book says. That mean that now, just because you do these things, that mean you're going to hell? No. Because Jesus is the propitiation for our sins. If we accept him and repent of our sins. Wait. Repent. Yeah, that means you're sorry for them, you turn away from them, and you don't go back. Ow. But in the law, it says that we can do this, and this. Yeah, in the law, it says I can beat you to death for... the law also says that if you and me have a scuffle and you do me wrong, not I do you wrong, but you do me wrong, and I can justify within the law that you've done me wrong, and I want to kill you for it because the law says I can kill you for it. Okay? But I can't find you. And then one day, you're coming this way and I'm coming this way, and come around the corner, and there you are, standing right in front of me. If I pull out my 9 and put 3 through your chest, I don't go to jail according to the law of the Bible, because God delivered you to me. We really want to pull the law into this? Or should we mitigate that little piece of the law with love thy neighbor as thyself? And the other part where if your brother sins, and you are aware of it, and you can correct your brother's behavior. He did you wrong. You convince him that he did you wrong. You make him say he's sorry. You convince him to say he's sorry and ask you and God for forgiveness. You have covered. And you don't go run around telling everybody how bad he done you either. You keep it to yourself. This is in the New Testament, explaining the way you should handle some of the Old Testament stuff. But what I like the part where I can just pop him for messing up my Impala or whatever it was he did wrong to you. You know, he touched my wife's butt. You can always look again if you have to justify your behaviors. That's why there were so many Sadducees and Pharisees, because they were lawyers. Guys would pay them money to keep them from getting stoned to death, according to the law, or pay them to get somebody stoned to death, according to the law, all depending. You got to be really careful with the law, people. Really, really, really. Now, is it a good guide for the way you ought to behave? Oh, yeah, it's a really good guide. Hold on a second. Oh, poo. Rachel, are you off that island yet? Rachel, don't. How come? Why y'all run Rachel off? Oh, wait, she had a baby. She has 2 kids and a cat now. She doesn't get to come in here very much. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, Hawaii just exploded. Not like that sounded very dramatical. But catching up on my text messages I was ignoring earlier. Well, I'm waiting for you to come down here with and bring me my new 4-wheeler you promised me for Christmas or my birthday, because I don't have to wait for Christmas. So I can go over there in that field and get the one that ain't got no legs. I ain't walking that far. I mean, yeah, I may drive around to the backside, and if he's close enough to the other road, I mean, but it's muddy, man. I shot 2 cranes this morning, and one of them I killed it deader than a hammer, and the other one I just shot its legs off. I feel really bad about the legs. It's laying over. I know it's over there dead. That's 320 acres over there, and spotting one little dead crane on that's going to be fun. Hey, Rob. Yeah, and that complaining I was talking about, the complaining and explaining earlier. I I I am a bad human being. I did that to my wife last night. I was complaining and explaining when something wasn't done. And then when I come back in, she had done it. So I don't feel like shit about that. But hey, what are you gonna do? I gotta check something here. Uh, I do not know what's in that box. It's driving me nuts. Um, who got a? You got a heart condition? Who's got a heart condition? Because I was not reading the stuff. That little snuggle bear got. If I remember right, it was given to him to keep him quiet, and then he got it in his mouth. You don't put something back on yourself that's been slobbered on. That's just not cool. Hold on, asking my wife something. And actually, if your desires are right, and there's a sermon on my channel on this. If anybody wants to go over it, you can go back and look it up. It's either on here or Facebook. One of those things. I don't know Facebook. Whatever. Okay. Uh, you're on social media right now. So, how to have all your desires met is basically what the whole sermon is about. You simply make your desires the desires of the Lord. It's not that complicated. You know, you figure out what the Most High God desires, and you make those your desires. What is it that the Most High desires? That, was John chapter 3? That none should perish, but that all. That's right. So, one of the desires of your heart must be that none perish. Nobody dies without coming to the understanding that that box is no longer exciting to me. It's wet wipes and diapers. Um, where is this thing? Is it? Oh, that's great. Oh, that's my fan. My cooling fan's on my computer. Bad thing's getting hot. Um, desires. So your desire must be that nobody dies without knowing about Jesus and God. That should be one of your desires. Like it should be a burning desire. It should be, I mean, it should be important enough to you that you got one of the disciples to write that shit down. I mean, you should have it engraved. I mean, if you got a tattoo, any tattoos at all, it should be one of them where you see it all the time. You know, when you're driving the car, boom, right there on the back end, it should be right there. That all should be saved. That's a pretty good one. That's a good start. That you, let's see, what you worship God and only God. How many I Heart God t-shirts you got? How many I Heart some professional ball team shirts you got? Let's see. What else does God talk about? Charity, visiting prisoners and helping out the widows and the orphans, uh, making a difference in the world. How many of those you people got that as a desire in your heart? I'm just curious, man. I should have put this on the real one because apparently I'm not going to filter anything out today. Apparently this is a no bullshit conversation. This is not the kind of stuff you can preach in the pulpit and get anything in the plate. That's why churches are dying. You used to be able to preach this stuff because church used to be about God and the fact that you were not worthy to take his son's sandals off, let alone wash his feet, even though he lowered himself to a point where if he were here, he would wash yours. Oh, so God desires that we all be humble. So the desire in my heart should be that I am humble. But I really like being proud of myself. And man, I got humble. Man, I am so humble. You have no clue how humble I am. I'm like probably the most humblest person. It's one of my biggest flaws is my humility. Yeah. I really need to work on that. Uh, if I won't slack up on the humility some, I'm going to be in real trouble. You have to know that you've come full circle with your walk with God. Find out what his desires are. Make those your own. That's what the book says. That's solid doctrine. God doesn't want people getting drunk all the time. Well, then don't get drunk all the time. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, and God wants us to make laws that say people go to jail for getting drunk. No, doesn't say that. That's on them. Somebody wants to drink their life away and die in the gutter somewhere, penniless and frozen. That's on them. Now, I agree with the laws if somebody goes out and gets sloshed and drunk and does something stupid and costs somebody their world. Yeah. The son bitches under the prison. They can get visited. You can get to Jesus in the prison just like you can outside the prison. But if you're gonna throw your life away to the point where you take somebody else's life away, you should have to pay for it. You can be forgiven and still have to pay for what you did. You know what I'm saying? So, Painless, you're gonna come down. Come. I'll point in the general direction. I could probably go down there and glass it. It's going to be the little lump that's laying down. But it's the same distance from that road or this road. But it's a plowed field. What do you mean? Heart condition. The condition of the heart. How do you condition your heart? Yeah, that's where a lot of people have a problem, though, because if you actually truly change the way what your desires are, which it changes the way your heart works, then a lot of the things you spent your entire life teaching yourself were important or were worthwhile lose all of their value, lose all of their meaning, and you're left with just you can wind up with a big hole in you because oh wait a minute, the you know being able to get your car under 12 seconds, it's really not that big a deal. I pissed off a lot of money on that, and hey, I could have paid for the house, but I didn't. What what do you do when you completely switch up all your life priorities? I mean, all of a sudden, your old friends don't know who you are anymore, and so you got to find new friends. And then, you're like, but I like my friends. I don't want to lose my friends. Well, then choose between your friends. Either you choose your friends, or you can choose God. I've had people tell me that they would rather burn in hell than lose the love of a child. That's a bad choice. You can make your child mad at you, and there's always a chance that they will turn around and find God and come back and love you again. But if you deny God to stay friends with your child, then well, there's no fixing that. I had a young man that I looked up to quite a bit because he was 6'4". That was a joke. He was a good guy, but had a real problem with his temper and couldn't get anything to go right for him. Like I said, he was a good kid, and I'm calling him kid because he was when I worked with him, I was coming up on 30 pretty hard, or 40 pretty hard. He already busted 40. I think actually, yeah, I think no, I was coming up on 40, and he was down in his mid 20s. Profound atheist. Didn't want to talk about God. He would sit there and explain to you for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours why there couldn't be a God and why worshiping God was ignorant, why believing in God made you ignorant. And now that's all he is posting to various social medias is the importance of God in your life, how to walk closer with God, the benefits of having God in your life, how he came to know God, why he's glad he came to know God. So, yeah, a guy that I didn't judge, but we weren't. We didn't. I mean, we actually did hang out because I didn't argue. We didn't argue about God back and forth, and I didn't try to convince him that he was wrong. Just, I let him see how I was living, and the other people, same thing. And then one day he just, saw the people that he connected with, the way their lives were going, and then saw the way people who were on the other side of the street were living, and then, yeah, things changed. God is good all the time. The end. We never know when God's going to do what God's going to do. Things happen in God's time, not our time. I'm sitting there throwing out all these little catchphrases now. Chances are none of us are ever going to be able to stop being complete assholes. We may be able to reduce our assholiness, but it doesn't mean that we can't be real men and real women. It doesn't mean that we can't care about the people in our bubble. And truly, if you, here comes the little bit of preaching part. Up to this has just been talking about God and death. If you do not have God, the real God, the God of the Bible, not the God of the internet, not the God of televangelism, not the God of Joel Osteen, or definitely not the Hebrew Israelites, the black ones. That's not God. Torah observant people, I love you. I got your back. Props for what you're doing. Show me your salvation by your works. I get it. You're showing your salvation. You're not expecting salvation. If you're expecting that to be your salvation, we need to talk. If you don't have God, the God, you're not going to be able to be a man or a woman. Not a true one. Husbands, if your wives are afraid of you, you're doing something wrong. Husbands, if your wives don't respect you, you're doing something wrong. Wives, if your husband doesn't love you and show you that he loves you by doing manly things, providing for you, protecting you, loving you, keeping you under the shelter of the Most High, manly things, true manly. Why? Is there something wrong with him? Which is possible. Or is there something wrong with you? Is there something you're doing that makes it hard for him to love you? He does not have, calm down, ladies. The Bible does not say that a man should respect his wife. It's to love her, which is a higher expectation. In the Bible, when it says that you're supposed to love somebody, you're supposed to put their life ahead of your own. Physical life ahead of your own. if there's a bus coming and you can push your wife out of the way or jump out of the way, for a husband to love his wife biblically, he pushes her out of the way. Which kind of sucks for her because now she's left with all the kids and nobody to help. But she's still alive. That's how that works. Well, she just needs to jump out the way and I'll jump out the way. She can't see the bus coming because she's attending your needs. You're supposed to be protecting her. She's honoring your commitment to love her by attending your needs. You are loving her by attending her needs. Seeing to her safety, seeing to her. You go, this is just going to go on and on and on and on and on. Don't make excuses. Don't, if you have to, seriously, justification can only go so far. It's either justified or it's not. If you have to dig for a justification has to be black and white. Either it's justified or it's not. If you have to find gray areas to make it a question, well, if I go ahead and buy that bass boat, and if I can win 27 tournaments in a row, then I can make the cost of the bass boat back and get another bass boat and maybe get a job, and then all I got to do is go fishing for a living. So you gambled with a piece of equipment and all of the free time you have to spend with your spouse and your children on maybe paying for the boat to maybe get another boat. So instead of, just so you can continue to do what you want as opposed to whatever. I like fishing. If I could make a living fishing, buddy, I'd be doing it. But yeah, not everybody can have, not everybody can be Richard Green, the fishing machine. I love that guy. But yeah, he's got all his stuff taken care of. He's a true grown ass man. He's older than I am. Yeah, he 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 earned the right to have them both. I'm making close to $100,000 and I'm in my 20s. Well, live off of 50. That way, when you get to be 60, you don't need the government to retire you. You don't need the banking system to retire you. You're retired yourself. Got your house paid for, your property paid for, your tractor paid for. You got everything paid for. You worked for 20 years and you put 20 years worth of money in the bank. You quit working right now, would have to hit double lick for 20 years. Did you do that? Did you start that when you was 20 so you could retire when you was 50? It's not that easy, I know. We tried it a couple times. But I ain't never made $100,000 a year either. Well, there was a couple times. But there was a lot of overhead involved in that. That's how I know about gambling, what you got coming in on what might be. I'll roll the dice a couple times and it's doing pretty good there for a minute. And then rolled one too many times, got snake eyes. Anyhow, I love you, Treasure. Thank you, the Davalier. Billy? Did I get that right? He's good about that. That's true, Anonymous. I'm reading some of the comments now. But it's 2 hour live stream, random 2 hour live stream on a Tuesday morning. Y'all don't start expecting this. Uh, the wind got up and I couldn't go out there. I mean, granted, the birds are flying into the wind, or were flying into the wind this morning, but now when they fly down, they're going to be leaving. And instead of flying into a 20-mile-per-hour wind, which reduces their speed, now they're flying with the wind, which increases their speed. And judging 16 feet at, uh, 40 yards, that's a little tricky. So it's hard to hit them this time of day. Love you, people, all of y'all. Y'all still alive. Do not die. Come back. Sorry I didn't go live Saturday. What's you doing Saturday? Oh, yeah. Oh, where am I? I saw all the way up until time to do the live stream. Then I come in here and I sat down. I was like, I can't do this. I got up at 3:30 Friday or Saturday morning. 3:30 or 4. There I go complaining again. I was tired. I would have just been me yawning at you. So anyway, I love you, people. Y'all stay alive. Do not die. I got some videos that I've shot that I need to. I know I always said that I'm going to edit them and put them out. I'm actually going to do that. So, yeah, hold on. Yeah, basically, coffee breaks over. I got to take all the stuff out of this. Behind me, there's a closet right here. I got to take all the stuff out of the bottom and move the manway thing and crawl under there and see what I got to do to jack up that wall. Because that's what I want to do. Didn't nobody ever. Love you, people. Y'all stay alive. Don't die. God bless. Seriously, I want God to bless each and every one of you. I lift y'all up, not by name every time, but in my thoughts. That each and everybody person that ever hears my voice on here will come to a proper understanding of what it means to know God. Took me forever. I was an ordained minister before I figured it out. Talk about a brick to the face. Love y'all. That's all.